Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Previously, Barak von Zieks relented and accepted Ryunosuke as his defense lawyer, and then the trial began. It's a closed trial, no jury, and the gallery is filled with other members of the judiciary. And, well, it's quite intense because Kazuma is acting not quite with anger, I would say, but a very focused sense of retribution, vengeance, whatever you want to call it, because, like as not, the Asogis and the Van Zieks have a rather checkered history. Oh boy. So one thing before we begin here, I want to give a shout-outs to Gina Lestrade. There was a great character moment with her that I acknowledged internally but didn't actually vocally talk about it. She was mired in this grief for Gregson, and in looking for someone to blame, she was just slandering Van Zieks and calling for blood as almost. But when Ryunosuke said that, no, I trust him, I believe he didn't do it, Gina hesitated and then was like, alright, I believe you. It's because she understands. I think she might have recognized that she herself was once exactly where Van Zieks is standing right now. And it's just a matter of trusting Ryunosuke, and I thought that was a really cute moment. Anyway, we have new witnesses, so can't wait to meet them. Let's get going here. So, witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court. Oh, that's disgusting! Like, I saw he had very large lips before. Oh. I wish I could unsee that. Names? We don't use names. Far too fancy for the likes of us. Yeah, that's just a spella. We're just free and easy. So what we like, live where we want to live. I give them all a vacant stare as they walk down Fresno and spin a few words into a verse for them.
Oh. Would I be right in assuming that all three of you make your living by selling wares on the street?
What's with his throat? Gossip. Oh, it makes me uncomfortable to look at this man. I feel like I'm looking at Spark Brushel again. Oh. I can't stop looking at those friggin' lips. Oh, I hate it. Everyone calls me Gossip. I sell jaunty little tidbits to passers-by, you know? Why is it spelled that way? What? Jaunty little tidbits. It's tidbits. God, an absolute smasher for you, sir. Right up your ginnel, it is? Ginnel? I don't know what a ginnel is, but I don't... Oh. 6 is the price and not a penny less. Wait, you're actually trying to sell it to me now? Oh, come on, sir. Don't tell me you're not interested. Try the man. Give him the money and see what it is.
Pay the man, counsel.
Alright. 6 it is. You won't regret it, sir. Now get your listening ears on. Just between us, a young couple on Slate Street have just had twins. Is that it? Oh. No, that's not it. It's gossip, isn't it? It wants to spread. But that bit's up to you and your mouth, of course. I've got more, you know. Want another juicy one? 6 apiece it is, if you're curious. I am curious, yes, about what's going on just under that fat bottom lip of yours. Namely, that unusual bruise or whatever it is that's poking out from under your collar. What about the next witness then? What name do you go by and what do you sell?
Me, I'm Venus. That's what everyone calls me. Funny, innit?
Fireworks? Oh. Well, okay, I guess that completely answers the mystery of the gunshot that was heard.
Huh. I sell these lovely little fireworks to all the local school kids.
Wow, that's very responsible of you. Did she just... Wow, that is... okay.
6 pence a pop? What do you say?
You weren't exaggerating with little. Do they actually sell?
Oh yeah, the second years can't get enough of my Venus firecrackers. Especially when I tell them that if they get 100, they could blow up the school.
Not the most savory of ideas, young lady.
What do you say then, eh? Want to part with 6 pence for a pop?
Wait, what? You want me to buy one?
Tell you what, I'll let you in on a little secret. If you get 100 of them, you could blow up the whole courtroom.
Don't... is this a crime? I feel like talking about that in a courtroom is a crime. Try the woman.
Give her the money and see if she's right.
Pay the woman, counsel.
Alright, I'll buy one.
Lovely stuff. Right then, this is something a bit extra just for you. The Venus Special, only 600 pence.
So huge. 600?
It's 100 of my regular fireworks. Nothing little about that, is there?
And there'd be nothing little about the punishment if I blew up the Old Bailey either. What sort of bang could it make? They even look like shotgun shells. Let's see. Nothing amiss on the surface, but...
Have you had an idea, Mr. Naruhodo? You're staring at the end of the string of fireworks.
Sorry, it's just that it's the Venus Special. I was wondering what 600 pence worth of fireworks would sound like.
Shall we find out?
What? But she said it could blow up the courtroom. Alright, that was a fairly sizable bang.
My ears are still ringing, Mr. Naruhodo. It sounded almost exactly like...
a gunshot. See, the game already knows I know. Well, glad that happened quickly. Oh, brother. And the last witness. What name do you go by and what do you sell?
I'm the thinker, me. Think all sorts of thoughts. I think, therefore I am. Therefore I think I think. Because I stand there on the street watching the world go on about me, they call me the observator. Ugh. Get out of it, old man. Everyone calls you Sandwich and you know it.
Sandwich? So, you don't actually sell anything?
A problem shared is a problem halved, as they say. I give advice, I do, and think what it means.
Hot? Actual help?
I don't actually sell anything, no, come to think of it.
Pity. No more purchases today, please.
Well, we have quite a cast here, it seems.
They conduct their business on Fresno Street from morning until night, my lord. And always in the same place, directly adjacent to the crime scene.
I see. And thus they heard the gunshot, I suppose.
Not only that, but they very bravely ran inside to see what was going on and witness the crime.
I'll be beggared, I thought, just between us. Venus de Mio, what am I to do? What a terrible thing I saw. What I think is, if all what we see is light and shadow, but playing with our eyes, is any of it real?
Oh. That's Plato, right? Plato's cave allegory? I think.
Very well. The court will hear the formal testimony of these three witnesses now. You will describe in detail what you witnessed and heard at the time of the incident.
Here we go. Go away. Okay, when I finish up and catch up with the Ace Attorney franchise, when I do the big tier list ranking video of ranking every Ace Attorney character, this guy's going straight down with Salmonella and Spark Brushel right at the bottom. Special place just for these three. Oh.
We saw the whole thing from start to finish, we did. Everything from the moment they went in the building.
Together?
It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside that we all heard a big bang. It seems to me that quick to talk is quick to walk. Gossip couldn't wait to go and see what had happened. I ran into the room and there he was, the Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body. I was scared half to death, me, so I ran off to find a copper.
If these witnesses were there the whole day and saw everything, who did they see going inside the building? Only the victim, Inspector Gregson, and the accused, Barak von Zeeks.
I've seen pictures of that Reaper in the paper. I know what he looks like. And just between us, folk love stories like this. I've made myself a tidy sum already.
But wait, the room was just one of several flats in the building. Someone from another flat could have done it. All those flats on Fresno Street are unoccupied.
Of course they are. They're small, damp, dirty, and expensive to boot.
The room in which the inspector was found is the only property in the building that's currently leased.
And we know the leaseholder's name, don't we? It's Hugh Boone.
The testimony the court has just heard would appear to have little room for doubt. It's becoming increasingly difficult to see how anyone other than the defendant could have committed the crime.
No.
Thank you for your candor, my lord.
Counsel for the defense, you may proceed to cross-examine the witnesses.
Yes, my lord. In a closed court like this without a jury, the judge is the only person whose opinion matters. I have to break down this testimony, somehow. Well, we'll do it bit by bit.
We saw the whole thing from start to finish, we did. Everything from the moment they went in the building.
Hold it!
When you say they, who do you mean exactly? Inspector Gregson and the defendant, Lord Van Zeeks?
I suppose so. The likes of us don't know the names of the high and mighty. But I'll tell you one thing. It was the old Reaper that went in last, that's for sure and certain.
Just behind Inspector Gregson. Did they arrive at the same time as each other?
No, not at all. The first fella must have gone inside a good 15 minutes before we heard the gunshot.
The victim arrived 15 minutes before. Are you sure about that?
Am I sure? Am I sure? Does it seem likely that I'd have forgotten a fella with bright red hair like that, does it? Yeah, his hair really were red, weren't it? Redder than my flamin' fireworks, even. That fiery red mop still burnt on the inside of my eyelids, it is.
Oh, I can relate.
Wait a minute, you're saying the man was a redhead? Weren't you listening, chum? Aye, he was redhead. He had a big trunk with him as well.
A trunk?
But Inspector Gregson's hair isn't red, not by any stretch of the imagination.
It seems likely that the person you saw wasn't in fact Inspector Gregson at all, but some other third party. No, I hate to break it to you, but the witnesses are correct.
What?
Just have a look at this photograph of the victim taken at the scene. Oh no. I was dreading this moment. Oh, Gregson! Yes, that's Inspector Gregson, all right.
And a red hairpiece.
Oh.
Of course, we saw one on the floor when we investigated the scene, didn't we?
I still refuse to believe Inspector Gregson wore a hairpiece, though. So then why on earth would he have been wearing something like that?
The color does seem to suit the man, one might say. The photograph will be submitted as evidence, please, counsel.
All right. And what became of the trunk that the red-headed victim was supposedly carrying? I was informed that no trunk was found at the scene. So it just disappeared.
What, do you expect us to have been watching the building every second, do you? We definitely saw him in the dock going in, though. No question about that.
I want to take a closer look at that photograph. Oh, that hurts. But unfortunately, I can't quite glean any other bits of info from this. I like things just as belt buckle, right? Yeah. Ugh.
It was less than a minute after the Reaper had gone inside that we all heard a big bang.
Hold it!
By which presumably you mean the gunshot.
I sell these little things, don't I? How would I know what a gunshot sounds like? But I've always thought it probably sounds a bit like this, doesn't it?
And you say that you heard the noise almost as soon as you saw the defendant here enter the building?
That's right, it was almost straight away. Bang, it went just like that.
Ugh, I feel bile rising in my throat. Well, he's the Reaper, isn't he? It's what the French call a fait accompli. Yeah, that.
When the Reaper's around, people are going in the ground. I mean, that's what he does, isn't it?
I think we get the message. The Reaper couldn't allow the Inspector to live after he discovered his secret hideout. There can be no clear motive for the crime.
Yes. It's certainly an eminently credible motive.
Great. And at that point, you ran inside. Is that correct?
It seems to me that quick to talk is quick to walk. The gossip couldn't wait to go and see what had happened.
Hold it!
So when Gossip ran to see what had happened, did you go too?
Oh, well, me, I'm a bit hampered, see. All the signs are that I can't move very well.
You were away behind, presumably, with that sandwich board around your neck and that big sign in your hand. Oh, that's why it's called Sandwich. What a great burden you bear. Pardon me for asking, Mr. Sandwich, but is it possible you and I have met before?
I'm not anybody, me. The signs are what make me who I am now. I sign, therefore I am.
What a philosopher. So, you weren't employed as an omnibus driver just under a year ago, then?
I might be mistaken, but I believe his trembling has intensified, Mr. Naruhodo.
Yes, I agree. He's clearly been through a lot.
Turn down King Henry Street and the Black Widower's Arms is just there. Oh dear, you've made him hide behind his sign.
Life is full of surprises.
I ran into the room and there he was, the Reaper, gun in hand, standing over the dead body.
Hold it!
So then you were the first person to arrive on the scene, is that right?
That I was. I kicked the door open like a professional I did, and yelled out, "What's going off here?" Lord Van Zieks claims all he heard was a man scream, though.
And was it dark inside the room?
No, not dark at all. There were candles burning on the wall.
Candles, plural.
Really? And there was a fella collapsed on the floor. Just between us, it's the first thing I noticed when I got inside.
I see. Even though Lord Van Zieks claims not to have seen any such lights on the wall,
the next thing I noticed was someone standing right beside the body.
The accused, Barak Van Zieks.
That's right, the pale-faced Reaper himself. I was a little shocked, I won't deny it, but I'm no lily-livered coward. I stood my ground and gave that Reaper a cold, hard stare myself.
Oh? Beppo?
Excuse me.
Do you have something to add, Mr. Sandwich?
There's really nothing to me. Empty in the head I am, just 2 slices with no middle. So I don't know what you want with me.
I think that maybe you just remembered something. Having heard Mr. Gossip's last statement, I mean.
What I think is, we're all nothings, really. We try to dress ourselves up as something else, but at the end of the day, we're all just street sellers. That's enough out of you, Sandwich. Keep your trap shut now. Plus, you want us to make you into a real sandwich. When he saw the Reaper, he fell clean over on his backside.
That's it?
Oh, you rotten beggar. Told you to keep that a secret. He screamed, he did. Screamed and scrambled off on all 4s. That's all I wanted to say.
Mr. Gossip, is this true?
The floor was dead slippery, that's why. Planted my hand in a filthy pool of blood, didn't I? Yuck.
What the hell? Is it your handprint on the back of the notice board? What?
What? A pool of blood? But listen here, even when I was sprawled on the floor, I still kept giving the Reaper a cold, hard stare. Don't you forget it. Let's just go back a little. Did you say you got blood on your hand? I did, Happens to the best of us at times, doesn't it?
I can't help but notice that he's kept one of his hands concealed in his overalls this entire time. Maybe it didn't wash off.
So I was scared, so I slipped over. We can keep it just between us, can't we?
No, Mr. Gossip. I'm going to have to ask you to add that information to your formal testimony.
Oh, if I must.
The witness will amend his testimony to include the aforementioned details at once.
I slipped over and got blood on my hand, so I quickly wiped it off on the floor.
Did you now?
Hold it!
You wiped your hand on the floor.
Well, who wants blood on his hand, eh? Horrible stuff. They might have thought I'd done it. No ta.
And you didn't think that might be a problem?
Does it really matter if I left a few grubby handprints on the floor? They'll all get cleaned up in the end, won't they? Don't make such a fuss, that's a message from all of us.
Is something wrong, counsel?
No, my lord. I didn't remember anything in the report about a bloody handprint on the floor, that's all.
Don't come at me with all that. You can't intimidate me. I know what I did. I wiped it off. On the floor, the blood.
I wonder, could that be what happened?
Mr. Naruhodo?
I don't have all the answers yet, but I think we may have just uncovered a vital clue.
I was scared after death, me, so I ran off to find a copper.
Hold it!
So you didn't run into the room with your friends?
I'm not that sort of girl.
Sorry?
I'm a timid little thing, me. I was too scared to go in there.
Ah, right, I see.
Old Lippy and the witch ran in there, and then I heard a sort of old lady scream. Well, that wasn't me, I swear. If I were a gentleman, I'd stake my honor on it.
But you're not a gentleman, so you aren't staking your honor on it.
I wondered what on earth was going on.
Which is when you went to find the policeman.
And I ran into a copper as soon as I turned the corner. So I brought him in straight back to the place. Didn't I do well, eh? Just between us, that copper's eyes nearly popped out of his head when he saw the Reaper. I've never felt more uncomfortable in all my life.
And the defendant was arrested on the spot, I believe.
Considering the catalog of killings the Reaper had carried out, it was a particularly inauspicious end. If I can't find any holes in this testimony,
I'm afraid the judge will give a ruling of guilty, Mr. Naruhodo.
The truth is, though, their combined testimony is fairly damning.
Unfortunately, there don't seem to be any obvious problems with their statements, do there?
Still, if Lord Van Zeeks really is innocent, then I'm almost certain that we'll find something in there that doesn't quite add up.
You don't think that one of these three could be the true culprit, do you?
I don't know. But what I do know is that there's more to this case that has yet to be brought to light. Alright then. Wiped it off on the floor. No, it definitely was not the floor that you wiped it on.
Objection!
So you wiped off the blood from your hand on the floor of the room. Are you quite sure about that?
Well, what else do you expect me to have done, eh? Does it really matter?
Objection!
The police found no such handprint on the floor during their investigations. What exactly is the defense? If you listen, you'll find out, Prosecutor Asogi. Certainly there was no bloody handprint found on the floor. What are you trying to say? There was a handprint in blood left very clearly at the scene. On the back of this notice board.
Oh, yes, indeed. Indisputably a handprint in the distinctive color of blood.
Ah, you're dead right. That's my right hand. I'd know it anywhere.
Objection!
Well, he's hiding his left hand in his overalls, so what's the deal? The witness very definitely testified that he wiped his hand on the floor. Any handprints on the back of the board are irrelevant. Not if the board itself had fallen over onto the floor. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. In that case, it's quite possible for the witness's handprint to have ended up there. Just look at the floor plan of the room. The notice board was in the opposite corner of the room to the victim and in an upright position. Even if it had somehow been toppled and was lying on the floor at the time. It would have been a considerable distance from the body.
I fell over when I came across the body. So I was basically right next to the corpse, not on the other side of the room.
In other words, the defense's assertion is contradictory. Yes, it is. There's a very definite contradiction here, for which there must be a reason.
I take it that you have formulated a proper hypothesis, counsel. Regarding this apparent discrepancy between the witness's account and the handprint found at the scene.
I have, my lord. This discrepancy between the witness's account and the location of the handprint is explained by... Yeah. Another handprint? There was no other handprint found at the scene, we know this. The board moving? Well, that's going to require a lot more explanation with proof we don't have. But false testimony? Seen it 1,000 times before, and I'll see it 1,000 times again. Occam's razor and all that. The simplest answer is usually the correct one. The witness claims to have wiped his bloody hand on the floor, yet no sign of that remains at the scene. The simplest explanation is that the witness is lying.
Objection!
Just because it's the simplest explanation doesn't make it the correct one, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Hey! He called me out directly! He has a full name and everything. Positing perjury simply because it suits you. You bring shame on your Japanese heritage.
I would ask you not to oversimplify matters again, counsel.
That one hurt. I don't remember fostering that kind of simplistic thinking in you. Oh no! He's not mad, he's just disappointed! Since when were you my father? Okay, I'm actually kind of glad I saw that exchange. Anyway, I was always taught to consider all possibilities. Then show me. There should be a bloody handprint on the floor. So where did it go? I'm ready to give the proper explanation to the court now, my lord.
I take it that you've formulated a proper hypothesis, counsel. Regarding this apparent discrepancy between the witness's account and the handprint found at the scene.
I have, my lord. This discrepancy between the witness's account and the location of the handprint is explained by... the board moving. The real contradiction here is the handprint itself, not where it was found. As the court can see, it's upside down.
Good gracious, so it is. If the witness had put his hand against the board, the fingers would be pointing upwards.
What does that tell us? It tells us one simple fact. When this handprint was made, The board must have been lying on the floor as I previously suggested, which means that after the incident, it must have been moved. What?
Objection!
You're claiming that somebody moved the notice board after the shooting. Then tell the court who. I don't know that yet, but the point is, when you consider all the testimony we've heard so far, we can now be very clear on one point.
And that would be?
The position of the notice board at the time of the incident, my lord.
So, counsel, I must ask you to clarify your assertion for the court. At the time of the incident, where do you maintain the notice board was situated?
Huh. I'm thinking, if the room was very, very dark, and the one singular light source in the room were these candles, maybe Gregson would drag the board all the way over here to read it. And he was standing here with his back to the candles, reading the board while it was here, and his view would be blocking of the doorway. He wouldn't see the doorway. And if what gossip says is true, he entered and approached the body and saw it, stumbled backwards and fell, wiping his print on it, and then fled. It might be right here. I'm trying to think of other explanations, but everything about this location right here makes sense to me. What the hell? But I am also theorizing at the same time that Gregson was dead on the ground a long time before Van Zieks even entered the building. About 15 minutes passed between the two entering the building. Well, let's just see this and see where we get.
Take that!
This is the only possible location. Oh.
Immediately adjacent to the doorway.
Well, I'm glad the game's really generous. If the court would think back to the testimony given by the defendant earlier, he said that when he entered the room it was dark, and he couldn't see the body. By heck! If the notice board had been here, the body would have been completely hidden from view, and the light from the candles would have been blocked, making the room appear darker.
Objection!
But the accused also claims that the victim's body simply appeared before him. That's true. Or, in his precise words, just as I picked the firearm up to examine it, the door flew open and I heard a man scream. It was only then that the body of Inspector Gregson appeared before me. Oh. The door flew open! dude floor open this way, and it knocked the board over on the ground. I get it. I don't know about calling it a scream, but he was talking about me and no mistake. 'Cause it was me that kicked the door open. If you look again at the floor plan... Yeah! Consider what would happen if the door to the room was thrown open with force. That can't. The door struck the notice board, knocking it over, and making the victim's body visible.
Good gracious.
My client has told nothing but the truth. He has simply described what he saw.
Order! Order! Counsel, how has this not come to light before now?
After the incident, somebody must have righted the board and moved it into the position where the police, myself, and my colleagues saw it when investigating the room.
Witness, what have you to say for yourself?
What? Me, my lord? You and your fellows were there at the scene before anybody else. It goes without saying that you must know something about the position of the notice board.
The witnesses in the stand will testify again. You will each explain exactly what you did upon arriving at the scene of the crime.
Stop looking over your glasses at me. I get the message. I don't know anything about that there notice board. I just wiped my hand on it, that's all. Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time. I don't know anything about anything. I'm just a bystander, me. Just a sign at the crossroads of life. It was the Reaper, I bet. He's got a face that screams bored. I can't see how this changes anything anyway. The detective still died when we heard the gunshot.
Did he? So none of you can elaborate further.
Shaken by the crime they witnessed, and with only the light of a few candles and an oil lamp by which to see. We can't expect these witnesses to be able to give a more precise account of what happened. That's right, yeah. It don't pay to expect too much. It's man's endless quest for knowledge that's destroying the world. That's what I think. Do you, really? In any case, as this testimony shows, even if the notice board was moved by somebody following the incident, it makes no difference. When the gunshot rang out, the accused was the only person at the scene. In short, the only person who could possibly have committed this crime is Barak von Zieks. None of this wrangling over the board changes that simple fact.
Quite so, quite so. Does the defense still wish to cross-examine the witnesses despite the circumstances?
Most certainly, my lord.
Very well, then you may proceed, counsel.
I don't know anything about that there notice board. I just wiped my hand on it, that's all. Please shut up forever. The horrible thing is that his personality's not even that bad or grating or anything. No, he's just a normal dude. Just eager for money and gossip. But that design! God, those freaking lips! So you admit that it was the board you wiped your bloody hand on? Admit it? What's to admit?
It's there plain as day for all to see. A smashing print of my right hand. Perhaps you wanted to hide that handprint. So you righted the notice board and pushed it into the corner, did you? No. Imagine the weight of that great lump. Do I look like a powerful and well-nurtured man? Well, did you see anybody else moving the board? I've got nerves of steel, I can tell you, but even I have my limits. There was a body on the floor in front of me, and the Grim Reaper himself standing over it. And there was precious little light inside either. My bottom lip was all a quiver. Ugh. In other words, this witness is unable to give definite testimony on that point.
Yes, so it would seem.
Well, don't look at me. I haven't got a clue about it. I was doing business with some second years at the time.
Hold it!
When you say you were doing business with them, you mean you were selling them fireworks?
Yeah, what else? There's the Priory School just round the corner, see? Those cheeky little so-and-sos have got a plan to blow their school to kingdom come. So I've been telling on them, letting their teachers know what they're up to.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, wouldn't want anybody to get hurt, so I let the school know the kids are playing with dodgy toys.
What a responsible adult you are.
Then, praise the Lord, the teachers take all the fireworks off them. And then, praise the Lord again, the kids all come back to me to buy more. Everyone's happy, see?
I mean, she's found an unexplored market. Good show? What a racket.
Course, and sometimes the teachers give me a little bonus to thank me for letting them know. It's a busy old life selling explosives.
Venus is a guileful goddess indeed.
Well, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing, really. I'm ever so good at it.
Oh? Beppo?
Excuse me!
Something wrong, Mr. Sandwich?
If I said it was, could we just leave it at that? Would that be the end of it?
No. Did Miss Venus's statements just now bring something to mind, perhaps?
Philosophical thoughts. Deep philosophical thoughts.
Huh?
Let's say there was a great liar. And that great liar said, without batting an eye, telling barefaced lies is kind of my thing. I'm ever so good at it. Would those words of hers be a lie too? Or the truth? In which case she's not a liar. Oh, it's a hellish paradox, that one, don't you think?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. But it seems to me you're suggesting Miss Venus has been lying, are you?
What are you on about, old man? Trying to cause trouble, are you? Keep on like that. And I'll wrap your whole body in firecrackers and set 'em off. That'll give you something to tremble about.
Okay, that's a crime.
You have a startlingly disturbing mind behind that sweet and innocent face, young lady.
So Miss Venus has lied in her testimony. Is that what you're saying, Mr. Sandwich?
Well, if it means I'll be burning in hellfire for the rest of my days, so be it. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Can you elaborate, please, sir? Whoops.
Old Blabbermouth here headed for the room where the gunshot seemed to come from. But there was someone else who crept up the stairs behind him, too. That's right. That rotten lie over there.
Do you mean to say that you did in fact betake yourself to the scene of the crime after all?
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
What did I tell you, eh? I said I was good at telling barefaced lies, didn't I?
Yes, you mentioned it.
Well, that revelation rocked the whole courtroom, didn't it?
Who knew firecrackers packed such a punch?
So you did indeed visit the scene of the crime, did you, young lady? Good grief.
Well, now you come to mention it. I suppose, perhaps, I do clearly remember climbing the stairs to the room, yeah.
Okay, kids, you see what she just did? She threw a match that was just lit on the ground indoors. Don't do that. Don't do it outdoors either. Don't do that. Don't do it. It's bad. Either you clearly remember it or you don't. Did I read that? Yeah,
Well, now you come to mention it.
Well, I shall consider a fitting punishment for this perjurious act later. For the time being, you will immediately amend your testimony to reflect the truth.
Oh, yes, my lord, of course. Maybe I did sneak along behind gossip and have a little peek into the room where it all happened.
Hold it!
you make a habit of lying, do you, Miss Venus?
Well, I suppose so. I don't really know, to be fair. If you want my advice, though, I take everything I say with a big pinch of salt.
Alright, but you did in fact go to the room where the victim was killed on the day in question, didn't you?
Oh, please, as if I would. I can't think of anything more terrifying.
The truth, please.
Well, alright, just a bit then. I mean, a girl my age is curious about stuff, you know?
Did you touch anything at the scene?
Oh, please, as if I would. I mean, there was a dead body on the floor.
The truth, please.
Well, alright, just a bit then. I had a look to see if there was anything I could sell. So I did give the place a once-over, but it was nothing to write home about.
Right. Now, I hesitate to ask, but you didn't move the notice board by any chance, did you?
Oh, please, as if I would touch anything like that. Just a few bits of loose change is all I had.
The truth, please.
Well, alright then. I thought there might be something worth having underneath it. So I blasted the flippin' thing. Sorry, flipped the blasted thing.
You're telling us that you did move that board?
I think that did slip out, didn't it? Well, you daft barm pot.
I don't know what a barm pot is, but I feel like it's correct.
I don't believe it. The girl doesn't think.
So, did you find anything then? Something that you might have taken, perhaps, to sell?
Oh, please, I should be so lucky.
The truth now!
I might have found this old pocket watch.
How many times in a row did that just happen?
I might have found this old pocket
watch under the notice board, I suppose. Oh, is there going to be an image of fish and chips in there?
But a bit of junk like this can't be worth. So it was you, was it? You're the one what took it.
Gina?
Young lady, may I remind you where you are?
That watch there, That was a present to Inspector Gregson from the yard for a big case he solved 10 years ago. The professor case, no doubt. The boss used to wind it up every evening without fail when he was waiting for his grub to come at the pub.
I see.
I swiped it off him once and blimey was he upset. He gave me a right earful. Said he hadn't missed a day in the last 10 years polishing it and winding it. It meant the world to him, that watch did.
Possibly not the best thing to go diving for, then.
It's not all that, though. I took it to Jabez's that night to ask how much it was worth, but the old dealer wouldn't touch it. Wouldn't give me a penny for it, said it wasn't working, knocked about and worthless he called it.
The clock froze. Perhaps at the time of death. Oh, that's interesting.
Ah, I knew I should have lifted it.
That watch must be submitted as evidence at once.
Oh, please, just so long as you promise to give it back when we're done. Not a chance. I'll swipe it from you if you try to get your grubby mitts on it again.
That's enough. Hand the watch to the bailiff forthwith.
Now, children, watch your manners.
Good lord. That glass appears to be broken.
More than likely, it shattered when the inspector was shot.
It doesn't tick anymore either. Which is why Jabez didn't want it. What a waste, eh?
Yes, indeed. It appears to have stopped at the hour of 5.
Exactly when the gunshot was heard, then. Oh.
Which supports the prosecution's claim, of course.
Unless a broken clock is right twice a day? 5 a.m.? Huh.
Well, it would appear that the mystery of the moving notice board has been solved at least.
And as predicted, it had very little bearing on the case. Ugh.
Now then, continue with your cross-examination, please, counsel.
Alright, I want to take a good look at that watch. I'm kind of surprised there's no picture in there. No way! I get it! That's what this is. Oh, no wonder it looks so worn and beaten down. Gregson's been using this for 10 years to tune his watch. That's how he winds it. Oh, that's interesting. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna leave things off here very uncharacteristically in the middle of things. Middle of pressing cross-examinations and middle of inspecting evidence even, but next time I will definitely have to make a point to looking at that watch properly, hopefully connecting it to that little key, then continuing to press onwards. Literally, in fact. Wow. It definitely feels like someone doctored this scene quite a bit, but I feel like that's beyond the grasp of any of these three witnesses. Beppo is just Beppo. He's poor little Scrumbly Blungo. Scrimbo Blimbo. Blorbo. He's just a little guy. He wouldn't do it. He's just Beppo. Lips, gossips, glossed lips. I hate him, but he just seems like a youth who got in over his head. Espella, she's just... I mean, Venus, she's just like a pathological liar and a con woman, but she's no evil mastermind who would kill the most beloved officer of Scotland Yard itself. There's definitely someone who is, as of yet, still in the shadows. Probably directly relating to the Redhead Society. God, and what of those two redheads that were escorted out of Sholmes' suite at the start of this case? What is their deal? Presumably we'll find them and talk to them after this trial session is done and we go into investigation phase once more. But could it be as simple as some important bigwig from the Redhead Association killing the bewigged wearing officer who is trying to investigate them? I don't know. What a hairy situation. I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care.